This handsome guy is so unlucky. He stayed up all night just waiting for the promotion announcement. But after checking all the units across the country, typing on the keyboard no less than 100 times, he still couldn't find his name on the list. Promotion and salary increase. He was so angry that he stood in the elevator, screaming and pounding his chest until it was bruised. But as soon as the elevator door opened, his facial expression immediately changed, replaced by a confident, bright smile. This handsome guy is prosecutor Dongjae. Dongjae is extremely unlucky. His looks and abilities are outstanding, but he's still only a deputy director. He wants to be promoted to director, but he keeps failing. On the other hand, his hated colleague has successfully been promoted. Outwardly, Byung-gun constantly pretends to pity Dongjae, but as soon as Dongjae leaves, he bursts into laughter, gloating. Dongjae walks through the office hallway, only hearing and seeing everyone sharing good news. Colleagues happily celebrate their promotions, while Dongjae sits alone eating instant noodles. To comfort his wounded heart, Dongjae can only find joy in small things. He goes online, revisiting his glorious achievements, seeing himself described online as a talented prosecutor, a survivor from hell. Dongjae cheers up, believing he's like Ginger, the older, the spicier. To achieve his dream of promotion, Dongjae decides to take a risk. That night, he throws away his useless pride and goes to the bowling alley, where his colleagues are playing. He happily joins them, using every trick to flatter the other party, saying that even if he doesn't get promoted, it's still beneficial. At least he can continue working under such a capable boss. A few days later, Dongjae keeps a fake smile on his face, coming to work on time every day. But he's only assigned small cases. The road to promotion seems distant, and every day, he has to deal with low-class citizens. Dongjae is sick of this situation, until one day, the appearance of a case gives Dongjae hope for promotion. The victim in the case is a middle-aged man. The man says that on the day of the incident, he was driving as usual, when a street vendor suddenly ran into the road to pick up a potato, causing him to nearly get into a car accident. An expensive ceramic vase in the trunk was also shattered. Therefore, the man demands compensation from the vendor. 1 billion won. The potato picker is the owner of a nearby restaurant. At first, Dongjae thinks this is just a boring case, intending to ask the restaurant owner to compensate the victim, but the owner refuses, suspecting the man intentionally caused the accident. He then slowly reveals his own struggles. It turns out his restaurant provides meals for the elderly and homeless, with each meal costing only 1 won. On the day of the incident, he ran into the road to pick up a fallen potato, causing the man to nearly crash. He admits his fault, but hopes Dongjae can show him mercy, given that he runs a low-cost restaurant to help others. Dongjae's subordinate tells him that the owner's restaurant has been featured in the news multiple times. It's said that the leadership even planned to commend him, but the owner declined due to the hassle. Hearing this, Dongjae thinks to himself, if he handles this case well, he might catch the attention of his superiors. At that time, promotion would become much easier. Through investigation, the subordinate discovers that valuable items like the ceramic vase are usually transported through special services with specific insurance. Dongjae suspects there's more to the story. He goes to the exhibition hall, where the man bought the vase, to ask why he didn't use the special transport service. The staff explains that the man specifically requested to take the item himself that day. But strangely, when he bought the item before, he always used the special transport service. Dongjae continues to question the man. The man says, this ceramic piece was meant as a gift for an important client. Who would entrust such an important delivery to a driver or courier? The man's explanation sounds reasonable, but Dongjae remains suspicious. Sure enough, after Dongjae leaves, the man secretly contacts a certain director, saying that Dongjae is in charge of the case. After hearing this, the director instructs the man to escalate the matter, while he himself will handle Dongjae. Following the director's instructions, the man goes to the restaurant to intentionally provoke the owner. In a fit of anger, the owner threatens him with a knife. Coincidentally, Dongjae arrives at that moment. The owner reveals that his is the only restaurant still operating on the street. The others have all been forced out by the landlord. Hearing this, Dongjae makes a suggestion, advising the owner to agree to appear on television, building the image of a kind-hearted restaurant owner. At that time, the rewards alone would be countless. However, the owner is strongly against appearing on TV, and immediately rejects the proposal. Additionally, he tells Dongjae that the water supply on the entire street has been cut off, and there's no way to prepare food for the customers anymore. Dongjae continues to play the good guy, offering to help the owner contact the water supply company. He even promises to fix the water pipes in the yard. As he leaves, a car suddenly speeds out from the right side, nearly hitting him. This reminds Dongjae of an incident a few days ago, when a car also suddenly came out from the right, nearly causing an accident. Thinking of this, Dongjae immediately checks his dashcam footage, discovering that the license plate of the car that almost hit him that day matches the victim's car in the vase case. Even more coincidentally, the timing of the two incidents almost perfectly overlaps, and the location is right in front of the restaurant. Additionally, Dongjae finds the victim's car and discovers that on the day of the incident, the last location recorded by the GPS was also the restaurant. Clearly, this was a deliberate collision. Dongjae calls the man in for questioning, believing that the man knew the restaurant owner would be transporting goods from the market at that time, so he intentionally waited nearby. The man adamantly denies this, declaring that he will officially sue the restaurant owner. Dongjae warns him that if he sues, he will also officially investigate the case, asking if the man can handle an experienced prosecutor like him. The man falls silent. At this moment, Dongjae receives a call from his superior, and his attitude immediately changes. He obediently runs to the restaurant, only to find not only his superior there, but also an old acquaintance, Director Nam, the representative of a construction company. Director Nam hands Dongjae a VIP bank card, advising him not to waste his efforts on the vase case anymore. It turns out that the man who caused the collision and broke the vase was acting under Director Nam's orders. Dongjae doesn't care, straightforwardly returning the card. 10 years ago, Director Nam was still a rural businessman selling concrete. Back then, he always tried to curry favor with Dongjae. Now, he's become wealthy, no longer the humble man he once was. Instead, he's arrogant, revealing the reason he ordered the man to cause the accident. It's actually quite simple. He wants to remove the stumbling block, which is the old man's restaurant. Only then can he carry out a construction project worth hundreds of billions of won on that land. Additionally, Director Nam reminds Dongjae that the reason his superior assigned him this case is to handle it flexibly. Facing Director Nam's carrot and stick approach, Dongjae remains outwardly upright, showing no signs of wavering. But thinking of his future, Dongjae still decides to go to the restaurant to investigate the situation. That night, Dongjae brings a gift to the restaurant, only to find the owner digging in the yard. Looking closer, he realizes that what's being dug up is human bones. Realizing something is wrong, Dongjae immediately hides, but the owner spots him and knocks him out. When Dongjae wakes up, he finds himself tied up. The owner says it's all Dongjae's fault for calling the water company to fix the pipes. To hide his murder, the owner had to dig up the bones buried in the yard. Seeing the sickle in the owner's hand about to strike, Dongjae hurriedly reveals the truth, saying the accident was a scam, and promises to help the owner turn the situation around and get 1 billion won. The person the owner killed and buried was the original owner of the restaurant. Later, the owner's wife discovered something unusual in the yard, so he killed her too. Dongjae tells the owner the truth about the accident, saying that behind it is a deal involving hundreds of billions of won, and the owner is very wealthy. To survive and get out of this situation, Dongjae uses his position as a prosecutor, saying he can turn the two murders into accidental deaths, clearing the owner of all suspicion. To make the owner trust him, Dongjae uses a series of professional terms to explain, saying that to completely remove suspicion, he must return to the prosecutor's office to download and fill out forms. Only then can the two bodies be declared as unidentified deaths. Seeing the owner still hesitant, Dongjae continues to act, crying and saying he's helping the owner to survive, not wanting his children to lose their father like he did. Sure enough, these words move the restaurant owner. He agrees to go with Dongjae to the prosecutor's office to fill out the forms. While driving to the prosecutor's office, the owner keeps a sickle pressed against Dongjae's neck the entire way, just in case. When they arrive at the prosecutor's office, the owner presses the sickle into Dongjae's waist. The two hold onto each other, taking small steps. Finally, they reach Dongjae's office. While the owner isn't paying attention, Dongjae quickly sends a text, calling for help from his colleague. Unfortunately, the text has a typo, and the colleague doesn't understand. Dongjae then downloads the relevant forms and fills them out, intending to turn the two murders into accidental deaths. After filling them out, Dongjae seriously asks the owner to help him turn on the printer. The owner, eager to comply, quickly follows the instructions and goes to get the printed documents. Seizing the opportunity, Dongjae slyly hides under the desk, trying to escape. Unexpectedly, the owner notices his actions and swings the sickle at him repeatedly. In the heat of the moment, Dongjae can only fight back while shouting for help. The noise attracts the attention of his hated colleague, Byung-gun. Seeing the situation is bad, the owner quickly runs away, accidentally dropping the sickle. Unexpectedly, Dongjae's subordinate appears at that moment and is immediately taken hostage by the owner, who drags him into the elevator. The owner's bad luck continues. The elevator malfunctions at that moment. After the rescue team arrives, they save Dongjae's subordinate, but the restaurant owner has fainted in the elevator and is arrested by the police. Dongjae is also injured from struggling with the owner and is carried away on a stretcher. The owner, unwilling to accept this, questions Dongjae, asking if he didn't want to help him change his fate. Dongjae laughs, saying he'll have a chance to reform and start over in prison. With the restaurant owner arrested, Director Nam unintentionally becomes the biggest beneficiary of Dongjae's actions. For his business, Director Nam and the man who caused the accident visit the restaurant owner in prison. The man who caused the accident is a lawyer, saying he can defend the owner. Director Nam presents documents, advising the owner to sign them, selling the land where the restaurant is located to him. In return, Director Nam promises to help the owner by informing all the prison guards. Witnessing the actions of the lawyer and Director Nam, the owner realizes that the 1 billion won and the wealthy owner Dongjae mentioned are right here. If he sells the land, he'll get 1 billion won from Director Nam. After realizing this, the owner tells Director Nam to help him kill Dongjae. Only then will he sign. Director Nam immediately refuses. After all, Dongjae is still a serving prosecutor and can't be easily killed. Meanwhile, after recovering in the hospital, Dongjae watches a video of the owner before his arrest. The owner angrily shouts Dongjae's name in front of the press, immediately making Dongjae a top search topic. The high-profile cases he handled before are also dug up, with people praising him endlessly. But at the same time, Dongjae's past title of a corrupt prosecutor and his suspected involvement in a bribery case are also brought up. On the day of his discharge, his subordinate visits him and brings a letter from Director Nam. Opening it, Dongjae finds it full of cash. In a fit of anger, Dongjae loses control of his emotions and decides to confront Director Nam. Before the meeting, to assert the demeanor of a prosecutor, Dongjae deliberately wears his most expensive suit and watch, and carefully styles his hair, transforming himself into the image of a sharp prosecutor. Inside the high-end nightclub where they meet, Dongjae, handsome and cold, throws the money from the envelope into Director Nam's face. Unexpectedly, Director Nam says he's already prepared to deal with this. He brings up something from 15 years ago, saying he once gave Dongjae a piece of land, which has now increased in value 100 times. For Dongjae, this act constitutes bribery, as the value of the land continues to rise. The amount of the bribe and the severity of the issue also increase accordingly. At this moment, Director Nam looks very pleased. If he wants, he can expose Dongjae's bribery. He hopes Dongjae will help him convince the restaurant owner to sell the land. Facing Director Nam's threats, Dongjae almost goes mad. 10 years ago, Dongjae was invited by Director Nam to a nightclub for fun. While Dongjae was drunk, Director Nam slipped an envelope into his pocket. At the time, Dongjae thought the envelope only contained some cash. That night, Dongjae ransacks his house, finally finding the envelope from 10 years ago. Sure enough, inside is a land purchase agreement, clearly stating that the seller is Director Nam, and the buyer is Dongjae. After reading the agreement, Dongjae is furious, even though he didn't know about the agreement back then. It's now evidence, proving he accepted a bribe. According to Director Nam, the land he gave Dongjae back then has now skyrocketed in value. If Dongjae sells it now, he'll be swimming in money. For a moment, Dongjae is caught in a dilemma. On one hand, Dongjae thinks that since he's already being suppressed, he can't get promoted anyway. If he wants to advance, he'll have to work overtime every day, with no prospects in sight. But on the other hand, Dongjae understands that if he sells the land, it's no different from colluding with Director Nam. From then on, he'll be forced to obey them, which will be suffocating and exhausting. After much thought, Dongjae realizes he only has two choices. Dongjae is frustrated, not knowing what to do. But soon, Dongjae's clever mind comes up with a third option. Dongjae runs to the law office to meet a senior colleague, While talking to the senior, Dongjae deliberately lies, saying he's considering switching to business. Sure enough, the senior knows that Dongjae's current situation isn't optimistic. He advises Dongjae not to overthink things, and even offers him a job at his law firm. Dongjae is deeply grateful. For now, he's found a new haven for himself. He decides to prioritize his self-respect and temporarily not sell the land. Returning to the prosecutor's office to fight back against Director Nam, Dongjae instructs his subordinate to find all documents related to Director Nam. At this moment, the department head brings him good news, because Dongjae sacrificed himself to successfully resolve the restaurant owner's case. He's been voted as a model prosecutor. In the second half of the year, Dongjae is overjoyed. He's finally waited for this day. But at this moment, his colleague Byung-gun comes to pick a fight. From the criminal investigation team, Byung-gun heard that the police are investigating a drug trafficking case. From the nightclub's surveillance footage, the team leader saw Dongjae and Director Nam leaving the room one after another, clearly showing they met. Byung-gun, who wants Dongjae to fail the most, deliberately brings this up in front of Dongjae. Dongjae, overjoyed and smug, asks Byung-gun how he managed to build a relationship with Director Nam so quickly. While Dongjae is flustered, not knowing how to explain, fortunately, his subordinate suddenly appears to help him out. The subordinate says that while Dongjae was in the hospital, Director Nam sent flowers and 200 won to his room. The reason Dongjae went to the nightclub was probably to return the items to Director Nam. The savior has arrived. Dongjae continues to use this excuse to explain further, saying he went to the nightclub to return the dirty money to the other party. These words successfully rebuild Dongjae's image as an upright prosecutor. Byung-gun can only leave in disappointment. Additionally, the subordinate has helped Dongjae investigate Director Nam's home address. Dongjae quickly goes there. When he arrives at the door, he accidentally passes by a blonde-haired man. Dongjae remembers seeing this blonde man a few days ago at the hospital. At that time, a girl working part-time at the bowling alley appeared at the hospital. To avoid the blonde man, the girl hid in Dongjae's hospital room. Dongjae thought the girl and the blonde man were a couple having a fight, so he stepped in to ask what was going on. From the other party's reaction, Dongjae realizes the blonde man is Director Nam's son. The blonde man tells Dongjae that his father isn't home. Dongjae can only curse under his breath and leave. On the way, Dongjae contacts a colleague, mentioning the murder case involving Director Nam's construction company. But the colleague says the witness in the case has gone missing, and the investigation can't proceed for now. In reality, the witness has been murdered by Director Nam's men. Meanwhile, a shooting murder occurs. The police find a suspect at the scene, and after arresting him, it turns out to be none other than Director Nam's son. Soon after, Director Nam receives a call, learning that his son is involved in a murder case and has been arrested. To save his son, Director Nam immediately contacts the prosecutor's office head, shouting and demanding that Dongjae be sent to handle this. Between the department head and Director Nam, there's a relationship of mutual benefit, so the head has no choice but to agree to his request. When Dongjae arrives at the dormitory building, he receives a call from the department head, ordering him to immediately handle the shooting case. Dongjae doesn't understand why his superior assigned this case to him, but he obediently drives to the scene. After arriving, he sees the victim is the girl who worked part-time at the bowling alley and had met him before. The on-site police brief Dongjae on the case. Through examination, they find the weapon is a hunting rifle, but the rifle is no longer at the scene. What surprises Dongjae even more is the victim is the daughter of the criminal investigation team leader. Hearing that the suspect has been arrested, Dongjae remembers seeing the blonde man sitting in a police car. On his way here, Dongjae realizes the blonde man is the suspect. He also remembers seeing the blonde man carrying a bag of balls when they met at Director Nam's house earlier. Dongjae suspects the bag contains the hunting rifle. Late at night, Dongjae returns to the prosecutor's office. At this moment, Director Nam anxiously blocks his way. He whispers to Dongjae, promising that if Dongjae helps clear his son's name, the matter of the land will be forgotten. Dongjae sternly reveals the victim's identity as the daughter of the criminal investigation team leader. Director Nam's face turns pale. The police act quickly, immediately obtaining a search warrant to search Director Nam's house, looking for the missing hunting rifle. At the same time, the police interrogate the blonde man. They discover 8 calls from the blonde man on the victim's phone. Additionally, The blonde man had tracked the victim's phone location, combined with the fact that the blonde man was covered in blood and fled the scene. All signs point to him being highly suspicious. Director Nam sends a lawyer for his son. On one hand, the lawyer subtly signals the blonde man to remain silent. On the other hand, he continuously refutes the police's claims. Additionally, the police search Director Nam's house, but fail to find the hunting rifle. Because of the suspect's identity, the blonde man is temporarily detained at the police station. Dongjae continuously presses the blonde man, wanting to know where he hid the hunting rifle. A few days ago at the hospital, Dongjae noticed bruises on the girl's face. Suspecting the blonde man caused them, he believes the blonde man is ruthless, which is why he shot the girl today. Facing the prosecutor's interrogation, the blonde man remains silent. The next day, the prosecutor's office holds a meeting about the case. The department head asks everyone who volunteered to take on this case after receiving it. The subordinates immediately fall silent. This case is very special. One side is the criminal investigation team leader. The other is Director Nam, a man of high social status. No one wants to get involved in such trouble. The department head looks at Dongjae with a meaningful gaze. From the department head's words and the current situation, Dongjae deduces that the department head and Director Nam must have some collaboration. Knowing Dongjae is entangled with the land issue, the department head deliberately sent him to the scene to avoid exposing the land issue. Dongjae immediately happily takes on the case. After the meeting, the police send Dongjae 2 photos. In the photos, the bag the suspect carried with the hunting rifle is the same bag the victim had taken from the bowling alley. Additionally, surveillance footage shows, a few hours before the incident, the blonde man had carried the bag to the bowling alley. The police analyzed that the blonde man took the rifle from his house and brought it to the bowling alley, giving it to the victim. Through statements from the victim's classmates, the police obtained testimony confirming that the blonde man had a one-sided crush on the victim. Director Nam visits his son in jail, asking about the rifle's whereabouts. Facing his father's intense questioning, the son trembles, saying he didn't kill the victim. Director Nam doesn't press further, instead instructing his son to maintain his denial in front of the prosecutor, as Dongjae is on their side and will let him go. Unexpectedly, Dongjae is completely different. To coax the blonde man into confessing, Dongjae adopts a very serious attitude during the interrogation, questioning every detail clearly, declaring he will prosecute the case and bring it to trial, investigating until the truth is clear. At that time, the blonde man will face a life sentence, since the blonde man is still young. After enduring the pressure from Dongjae's words, he quickly breaks down and confesses. It turns out, not long ago, the blonde man and the girl found some illegal drugs at the train station. The blonde man intended to return them, but the girl decided to sell them to make money. The blonde man, persuaded by the girl he secretly loved, agreed, and the two took orders and delivered the drugs through a phone app. Before the incident, they received an order from someone who wanted to buy all the drugs. The blonde man had advised the girl not to go, even giving her the hunting rifle out of concern. But that night, the girl sneaked out anyway. The blonde man chased after her, but when he arrived, he found the girl he liked had been killed. This is the full sequence of events from that day. According to the blonde man's account, the amount of drugs the girl took to the final transaction was not small. The police and Dongjae realize the true owner of those drugs is definitely not a small-time dealer, but a large-scale drug trafficking organization. Clearly, the final customer is very likely the murderer. Learning that his daughter secretly sold drugs, the criminal investigation team leader immediately rushes home from the funeral home. Sure enough, he finds a bag of cash in his daughter's room. This confirms the blonde man's story. After obtaining the location and time where the drugs were found, Dongjae immediately heads to the train station. Remembering that Byung-gun is investigating a drug case, Dongjae recalls Byung-gun mentioning a new drug called Purple Fantasy that's being widely circulated in the market. But not long ago, transactions involving this new drug suddenly disappeared. Dongjae suspects the supply chain for Purple Fantasy has been disrupted, likely due to the drugs the blonde man and the girl accidentally found. Dongjae checks the train station surveillance footage, discovering that on the day the drugs were found, the girl and the blonde man had accidentally bumped into a fierce-looking man. Dongjae shifts his investigation focus to that man. Prosecutor Dongjae goes to the train station to check the surveillance footage, finding many clues about the case. Through the footage, he discovers that a few days earlier, a fierce-looking, tattooed man entered the restroom. and placed the latest batch of purple fantasy from a paper bag into a handbag. But in the middle of this, he had to leave suddenly, accidentally leaving the handbag in the restroom. Later, director Nam's son entered the restroom, found the forgotten bag, and took it out to show the girl. Seeing the tattooed man angrily running out to look for his belongings, the two panicked and fled with the drugs. The police tell Dongjae the tattooed man is the owner of a famous nightclub, and the true mastermind behind it is the main supplier of purple fantasy in the area. Dongjae offers his analysis, suspecting the shooter who killed the victim could be the tattooed man, who used the drug purchase as a pretext to retrieve the purple fantasy. Alternatively, it could be the blonde man, who had a falling out with the girl over money, or accidentally shot her while teaching her to use the rifle. Dongjae knows that regardless of who the killer is, this case is definitely linked to the largest drug trafficking organization in the area. If he can solve the case before Byung-gun, promotion and a raise will no longer be just a dream. Meanwhile, director Nam visits his son in jail, wanting to know if Dongjae followed his instructions to clear his son's name and release him. While they're talking, Dongjae arrives. Unexpectedly, Dongjae shows no mercy, grilling the blonde man about who the true owner of the drugs is and why he's not talking. Director Nam flies into a rage, not understanding why his son, who lacks nothing, would sell drugs. That night, Dongjae meets with the department head, revealing the crimes committed by the blonde man. Additionally, Dongjae has investigated the delivery method of purple fantasy by the tattooed man's group through high-speed bus courier services. Therefore, Dongjae requests a search warrant for the tattooed man on suspicion of involvement in the girl's murder. After hearing this, the department head calls Byung-gun, since the purple fantasy case is under his jurisdiction. Coincidentally, Byung-gun doesn't answer. The department head agrees to let Dongjae submit the application for the search warrant. Unexpectedly, Dongjae's luck runs out. As soon as he steps out, Byung-gun walks in. The department head tells Byung-gun to quickly stop Dongjae. Byung-gun, without asking for details, rushes out to stop Dongjae. Learning that Dongjae wants to apply for a search warrant for the tattooed man on suspicion of murder, Byung-gun firmly refuses. He's received a tip that the mastermind behind the nightclub will be transporting purple fantasy in 2 hours. If Dongjae applies for the search warrant and arrests the tattooed man now, the mastermind will surely flee, making it very difficult to crack the drug trafficking case. But Dongjae disagrees. The tattooed man is a murder suspect. This is no small matter. Now, things are getting interesting. The two prosecutors, one wants to solve the murder case, the other wants to take down the drug trafficking organization, argue until they're red in the face. Unexpectedly, the department head is even more cunning. After calming the tension between the two, he orders them to handle both cases simultaneously, both taking down the drug trafficking organization and applying for the search warrant to arrest the tattooed man. Neither case can be neglected. Dongjae's subordinate reminds him that for Byung-gun, solving the purple fantasy case is related to his promotion and transfer to the central prosecutor's office. Hearing this, Dongjae can't help but lament his terrible luck. He thought arresting the tattooed man would help him solve the case. But instead, it only helps Byung-gun advance faster. But soon, with his quick thinking, Dongjae comes up with a solution. A few hours earlier, the police had arrested the tattooed man on suspicion of the girl's murder. But there's no concrete evidence yet. Dongjae suggests the police pretend to release him. If the tattooed man is the killer, he'll surely try to destroy evidence. At that time, the police can follow him and catch him in the act. The police follow Dongjae's suggestion. After making the call, director Nam meets with Dongjae to plead for his son, saying his son's drug selling was definitely instigated by the girl. He claims his son is a good kid. Dongjae remains unmoved, straightforwardly saying that every time he meets director Nam, his understanding of human limits is renewed. Seeing this, director Nam immediately softens his attitude, slipping Dongjae an envelope, while pleading for Dongjae to release his son, and again promising to give Dongjae the land. Acting as if nothing happened, Dongjae sternly asks director Nam to leave. After picking up the envelope director Nam left behind, Dongjae finds it only contains a photocopy of the land documents, not the originals. Clearly, director Nam, being cunning, has no intention of destroying the originals. That night, according to the plan, the prosecutor's office raids the drug trafficking organization. After completing the transaction, Byung-gun and his colleagues quickly move in to make arrests. After a struggle, Byung-gun successfully captures members of the purple fantasy trafficking organization. The bad news is that the mastermind behind the nightclub escaped during the chaos. But that night, Dongjae unexpectedly gets lucky. At a public bathhouse, someone reports finding a drug manufacturing lab. After arriving, Dongjae sees the drug being manufactured is purple fantasy. Additionally, they find a man tied up inside the lab. Next to the man's body is a hunting rifle, likely the one used to shoot the girl. Remembering Byung-gun's earlier words, Dongjae realizes the victim in front of him is likely the distributor of purple fantasy, while the manufacturer is someone else. With the lab and the distributor identified, all that's left is to find the manufacturer, and Dongjae can outmaneuver Byung-gun to become the one who cracks the exclusive drug trafficking organization in the area. At that time, the person promoted and transferred to the central prosecutor's office won't be Byung-gun, but Dongjae. More importantly, if the distributor's death and the girl's death are part of a serial murder case, then the blonde man isn't the killer. At that time, Dongjae can rightfully release the blonde man, not because he's being coerced by Director Nam. It's a perfect plan with no loopholes. Based on the crime scene analysis, Dongjae deduces that during the struggle with the drug distributor, the killer was also injured. But after searching the entire lab, they find no bloodstains from the killer, nor any fingerprints. The forensic examiner says that after prolonged exposure to drugs, fingerprints can gradually wear away, or even disappear completely. Additionally, if someone works in such a lab for a long time, their body will carry a distinct drug smell that can't be hidden, and their lungs will be severely damaged. Hearing this, Dongjae thinks of someone, the owner of the bowling alley, where the girl worked before her death. Dongjae remembers, the bowling alley owner had a distinct smell, and his health seemed poor, constantly coughing, likely a side effect of long-term drug exposure. Unfortunately, at the time, Dongjae didn't notice whether the owner still had fingerprints. After finishing the investigation at the lab, Dongjae instructs his subordinate to investigate the drug distributor's residence and apply for a search warrant. Additionally, they need to find the registration information of the bowling alley. Meanwhile, during a meeting, the police are discussing the drug distributor's case at the bathhouse. At this moment, Byung-gun bursts in, demanding the police find the tattooed man they let slip away hours earlier. During the raid on the drug trafficking organization, Byung-gun noticed the tattooed man didn't show up. Learning that the police carelessly let him escape, Byung-gun is furious, his face dark with anger. Without this informant, it's very difficult to track down the mastermind who escaped during the chaos. At this moment, Dongjae also arrives, standing in front of Byung-gun. Dongjae reveals the drug distributor's murder. Byung-gun only learns of this now and is furious. This is his case, but now Dongjae has taken it over. Dongjae smugly mentions discovering the lab and finding the hunting rifle used to kill the girl there. Now, all that's left is to find the escaped mastermind and the drug manufacturer. The department head orders Dongjae and Byung-gun to compete. Whoever finds the person first gets the case and all the credit. As soon as the department head gives the order, Dongjae and Byung-gun immediately race to their cars, each determined to find the person before the other. Byung-gun goes to the nightclub, trying to gather information about the tattooed man's whereabouts. He then heads to the tattooed man's house, but finds no trace of him. Little does Byung-gun know, the tattooed man has been captured by Director Nam to help his son escape suspicion of murder and drug trafficking. Director Nam, while the police weren't paying attention, captured the tattooed man. Facing Director Nam's threats, the tattooed man chooses to cooperate, saying he can testify for Director Nam's son, claiming the drug trafficking was all the girl's doing, with no involvement from Director Nam's son. Additionally, Director Nam sends his men to capture the drug trafficking mastermind, who's on the run. Unexpectedly, the mastermind is severely injured and dies on the spot. Director Nam orders his men to dump the body by the roadside and dig a hole to bury the tattooed man, demanding he confess to killing the girl in front of the police. Meanwhile, Dongjae goes to find the bowling alley owner, only to find him to be a muscular, burly man. The man suspects Dongjae is a telecom scammer and grabs him by the neck as soon as he opens the door. Seeing his life in danger, Dongjae secretly sends a text for help to his subordinate. The subordinate quickly rushes into the muscular man's house, only to find Dongjae calmly peeling eggs. It turns out the muscular man, though intimidating in appearance, is actually very approachable. After some conversation, Dongjae learns the man's identity was stolen. In other words, the bowling alley owner's constant coughing was likely fake. But the issue is, identity theft isn't easy to investigate. And you can't arrest someone just because a fake owner coughed for a few hours. But with a "why not" attitude, Dongjae still files an application for a search warrant for the bowling alley. Additionally, Dongjae notices the photocopy of the land purchase agreement Director Nam left behind. Worried the original is in Director Nam's hands, Dongjae fears it will cause trouble sooner or later. To prepare, Dongjae goes to Director Nam's house. Bringing along his son, he uses his authority to oppose extending the son's detention, in exchange for Director Nam signing a document to buy back the land from him. Once Director Nam buys back the land, the bribery charge will have no basis. Of course, if Director Nam refuses, Dongjae can always send his son back to the prosecutor's office. Faced with this, Director Nam's son has no choice but to sign, agreeing to buy back the land. The moment the document is stamped, Dongjae's hanging heart finally settles. Additionally, Dongjae reminds Director Nam that releasing his son is because the murder suspicion has been cleared. But the drug trafficking case is still ongoing. After Dongjae leaves, Director Nam calls many lawyers, seeking a solution. The lawyers propose a plan: pin all the drug trafficking on the girl, then hold a press conference to announce that the criminal investigation team leader's daughter was involved in drug trafficking, shifting all blame onto the deceased girl. Meanwhile, after returning to the prosecutor's office, Dongjae's subordinate informs him the search warrant for the drug distributor's residence has been approved, but the search warrant is blocked by Byung-gun. It said Byung-gun has already taken the warrant to Seoul. Dongjae quickly tells his subordinate to go to Seoul to stop him. While he heads to the bowling alley, the subordinate has found another girl who works there. She opens the door for him, but says she can't contact the owner right now. In the bowling alley's trash, Dongjae finds a bottle of drugs, confirmed to be purple fantasy. Dongjae realizes the bowling alley is the source of everything. From the girl's murder to the purple fantasy trafficking, everything is connected to this place. Now, only he knows the connection between the bowling alley and the case. If he follows this lead, the case will surely be solved. Hope for a transfer to the central prosecutor's office burns brightly in Dongjae's heart. In his excitement, he can't help but dance around. To win the drug trafficking case, Dongjae and Byung-gun quickly rush to the scene. Byung-gun, holding the search warrant he snatched from Dongjae, heads to the port to capture the bowling alley owner, who's preparing to flee. To prevent the bowling alley owner from successfully crossing the border, Byung-gun inspects the entire port area. While he's smugly thinking he's won, a colleague calls, saying they've already caught the person, and it was Dongjae who made the arrest. Byung-gun is furious. Dongjae's clever move was, while Byung-gun was busy setting up at the port, Dongjae went to the Food and Drug Administration. Based on his analysis, the bowling alley owner suffers from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and must regularly purchase prescription drugs. Therefore, Dongjae ransacks the Food and Drug Administration, finally finding the owner's medical records. Following the information, Dongjae successfully captures the person. After cracking the drug trafficking case, Dongjae begins to indulge in fantasies, imagining himself as a model prosecutor, standing under the spotlight, becoming a key figure and elite of the prosecutor's office. To prepare for the upcoming commendation ceremony, Dongjae prepares a speech. In the speech, Dongjae repeatedly thanks his superiors, while remaining humble himself, but also subtly inserting self-praise. It's a perfectly crafted thank you speech. Of course, besides cracking the drug trafficking case, through reasoning and interrogating the bowling alley owner, Dongjae also clarifies the details of the murder case. It turns out, the bowling alley owner is the manufacturer of Purple Fantasy, but wanted to retire. However, the drug distributor demanded he continue producing. At this time, the girl took the drugs she found to the distributor for a transaction. The distributor, thinking the bowling alley owner was secretly collaborating with someone else to sell drugs, killed the girl in a fit of rage. Later, the distributor tried to kill the bowling alley owner, but during the struggle, was killed by the owner instead. According to the bowling alley owner's testimony, he did this to avenge the girl. With this, the truth of the case is revealed. Dongjae immediately becomes the star of the prosecutor's office. During the gathering, Dongjae happily toasts his superiors, while also mocking Byung-gun's miserable failure, marveling at how good it feels to be admired. In contrast to Dongjae's joy, Byung-gun looks gloomy, even becoming the butt of jokes for drinking too much. The next day is the commendation ceremony for the model prosecutor. Early in the morning, Dongjae's subordinate comes to his house to give him flowers. In the car, Dongjae can't hide his joy, humming a tune. At the prosecutor's office entrance, Dongjae silently thanks heaven, grateful for finally reaching the pinnacle of glory, vowing to live a good life from now on. With excitement and enthusiasm, Dongjae enters the ceremony venue, shaking hands with the colleague in charge of interviews. Unexpectedly, the host winks, signaling something. Immediately, the colleague pulls Dongjae aside. Dongjae is confused, not understanding what's happening. More importantly, his wife is standing at the door, dressed beautifully, holding fresh flowers to give him. Later, Dongjae learns this is Director Nam's doing. To retaliate against Dongjae for opposing him, Director Nam collaborated with a lawyer, becoming a guest on a legal advice show. On the show, Director Nam tells viewers that during his son's interrogation, Dongjae used threatening language. Not stopping there, Director Nam also reveals Dongjae's past misdeeds, such as being suspected of fabricating evidence. After the show airs, public opinion immediately buzzes, and Dongjae's past corruption and bribery suspicions are dug up again. Now, after one night, Dongjae is back to square one. Dongjae hurriedly leaves the ceremony venue, while his wife chases after him, hitting him with the bouquet, calling him useless. Dongjae's bad reputation spreads far and wide. The biggest beneficiary is Byung-gun. The superiors shift all credit for cracking the drug trafficking case to Byung-gun. Now, it's Dongjae's turn to sit alone in a dark corner, drinking to drown his sorrows, lamenting his terrible luck. Not long after, the Ministry of Justice conducts an internal investigation into Dongjae. Dongjae desperately explains, saying Director Nam framed him to clear his son's name. The Ministry of Justice officials aren't convinced, planning to invite the former chief prosecutor to testify against Dongjae's illegal actions. This former chief prosecutor is the senior Dongjae once respected most, the one who recommended him for the job. Dongjae stands up, slamming the table, begging the Ministry of Justice not to invite the senior, not wanting him to see his current miserable state. Harassed by the Ministry of Justice, Dongjae's superiors also demand he resign immediately. Seeing his prosecutor's seat about to be lost, Dongjae runs to Director Nam's house to plead. In the office, the subordinates all think Dongjae is done for this time. Unexpectedly, Dongjae is stubborn as a mule, refusing to submit his resignation. Instead, he files an indictment against Director Nam's son. It turns out, last night, while Dongjae was about to kneel and beg Director Nam, he overheard a conversation between Director Nam's lawyer and someone else. Over the phone, the lawyer warns someone to be careful, making Dongjae realize Director Nam must be involved in some illegal activity. To counter Director Nam, Dongjae willingly takes the risk, filing the indictment against his son. After receiving the indictment, Director Nam flies into a rage. The lawyer suggests that since Dongjae is in a desperate state, to completely defeat him, they need to hire a renowned lawyer to defend Director Nam's son. On one hand, Dongjae files the indictment against Director Nam. On the other, he takes his wife out for a meal, failing to get the model prosecutor title, and being condemned by public opinion. Dongjae feels guilty towards his wife, explaining that he interrogated Director Nam's son, leading to Director Nam framing him. He promises not to upset her again in the future, finally deciding to risk it all, revealing that he accidentally accepted a bribe from Director Nam. His wife, furious, yells at him. Dongjae hurriedly says that as long as she understands and forgives him, he will risk everything to send Director Nam to prison. Fortunately, his wife is magnanimous, not only not asking for a divorce, but also pushing the plate aside, flipping over the tablecloth, and taking out a pen, telling Dongjae to write down what she says. Dongjae immediately complies, writing a pledge to never disobey her again, or else he'll leave with nothing. Additionally, he must catch Director Nam, restoring his reputation. From now on, he can't do shady things for money, becoming the target of public scorn. His wife lays out 3 conditions, all for Dongjae's sake. Because of this, Dongjae's trust in her grows exponentially, vowing to restore his honor and fight Director Nam to the end. Director Nam had previously said on camera that in the next episode, he would continue to expose Dongjae's illegal actions. Unexpectedly, Dongjae doesn't play by the rules. That night, he posts a self-written apology on the prosecutor's office website, admitting he did some wrong things in the past, saying Director Nam did give him a piece of land, and publicly revealing that Director Nam used this to pressure him into releasing his son. He declares He wants to thoroughly investigate the crimes of director Nam and his son. Dongjae also mentions director Nam's redevelopment project, exposing how director Nam used lobbying to obtain redevelopment information, then used low prices to drive out unaware residents, swallowing the land said to increase in value. After seeing Dongjae's apology, the superiors order Byung-gun to immediately return to the dormitory to keep an eye on Dongjae. Fearing he might do something reckless after exposing himself, Byung-gun has no choice but to go find Dongjae. Dongjae has already bought rope and a shovel, stuffing a bunch of tools into his car trunk. To fight director Nam, he's prepared for the worst-case scenario. If he's fired, he plans to either open a law office to make a living, or go live streaming to talk about catching criminals. From his prosecutor days, Dongjae believes that even if he's no longer a prosecutor, he won't let his family starve. Byung-gun arrives at the dormitory building, seeing Dongjae loading things into his car trunk. What surprises Byung-gun is Dongjae sincerely apologizes to him, making Byung-gun blush, saying a few words to show his magnanimity. Dongjae then picks up a hammer, telling Byung-gun to come with him to find someone. It turns out, yesterday, the subordinate brought good news. According to the subordinate's investigation, a construction site is suspected of illegal construction. A worker reported the contractor, director Nam's construction company, saying the steel reinforcement spacing, load-bearing walls, and columns don't meet safety standards. This could be called a whistleblower's report. But after reporting, the worker mysteriously disappeared. According to the investigation, the last location of his phone signal was at the construction site. Dongjae suspects the worker was killed by director Nam. He thinks the body is buried at the construction site. Dongjae wants to seize this opportunity to send director Nam to prison. Now, he hopes Byung-gun can lend a hand. The rope and shovel he bought are to dig up the worker's body. Byung-gun is persuaded, but after the two arrive at the construction site, they find the female subordinate's car also there. The subordinate is the one who provided the tip about the construction site to Dongjae. Byung-gun immediately contacts her, but hears screams from the other side. Following the sound, they discover several thugs are about to bury the female subordinate alive with an excavator. Fortunately, the two arrive in time, and the female subordinate is taken away in an ambulance, while the thugs seize the opportunity to escape. Luckily, while talking to the thugs, the female subordinate learned they've buried people alive before. It seems Dongjae's suspicions aren't unfounded. But now, the matter has been blown out of proportion. Digging around randomly will surely make director Nam suspicious. Dongjae, Byung-gun, and the subordinate think hard, but can't come up with a way to avoid detection while searching for the body. Finally, the three decide to seek the department head's help. After deciding on the plan, Byung-gun invites the lawyer colluding with director Nam to the prosecutor's office, asking where the missing worker is. Sure enough, the lawyer acts clueless, not understanding what's going on. The female subordinate asks the criminal investigation team leader for help, telling the police to summon the thugs from the construction site for assaulting a serving prosecutor. The team leader immediately agrees, quickly summoning director Nam to the police station, presenting the thugs' criminal records. Among them is one of director Nam's bodyguards, showing director Nam uses private bodyguards to guard the construction site instead of regular security. Unexpectedly, director Nam has prepared a countermeasure, having the tattooed man involved in purple fantasy turn himself in. Following director Nam's orders, the tattooed man frames the deceased girl as his accomplice in drug trafficking, claiming he has no connection to director Nam's son. Byung-gun tries to turn the situation around, quickly interrogating the tattooed man, hoping to get him to reveal the mastermind behind the operation. But the tattooed man refuses to talk. Later, director Nam holds a groundbreaking ceremony for the redevelopment project, speeding up the demolition plan. The police and prosecutor's office have been checkmated. The department head is deeply disappointed in Dongjae, ordering him to hand over his office to his subordinate. Due to the superior's order, Dongjae is forced to give up his office. From now on, the person in charge of prosecuting director Nam's son will be the subordinate. That night, the defense lawyer for director Nam's son comes to the prosecutor's office. Dongjae is shocked, wide-eyed. The lawyer is none other than the former chief prosecutor he once respected most, the one who recommended him for the job. Since the defense lawyer for director Nam's son is a highly capable attorney, the tension in Dongjae's body immediately rises. Not long after, during the trial, the senior presents various pieces of evidence, trying to pin all the drug trafficking on the deceased girl, clearing Director Nam's son of all charges. Dongjae's subordinate is in charge of the prosecution this time. The subordinate responds firmly, but the experienced senior sees through the loopholes, intensifying the attack. The senior even calls another witness to the stand, none other than the tattooed man. Dongjae realizes the tattooed man must have been threatened by Director Nam to turn the situation around. Before the witness takes the stand, Dongjae intercepts him, secretly telling him that Director Nam's henchman, who threatened and beat him, has been arrested. He tells the tattooed man not to be afraid anymore, to just tell the truth, that he was kidnapped and threatened by Director Nam. Only by overthrowing Director Nam can the tattooed man regain his position in the underworld. After instructing the tattooed man, Dongjae changes into a worker's uniform and goes to Director Nam's construction site, asking the manager to let him work there. Seeing Dongjae's soft skin, clearly unused to hard labor, the manager initially refuses. Unexpectedly, Dongjae plays the sympathy card, lying that he has an elderly mother and young child to support. Only then does the manager agree to let him work. Of course, Dongjae's purpose for being there isn't to earn a living, but to search for the worker's body while working. On his first day at the construction site, Dongjae is exhausted, unable to even carry cement, and shoveling sand until his back aches. But despite being busy getting used to the work, Dongjae doesn't forget to gather information, inspecting the ground and walls. After a busy day, Dongjae runs to a restaurant, ordering 5 servings of pork belly. The subordinate arrives, giving Dongjae tools to help search for the body, from cameras to metal detectors. Dongjae also tells the subordinate about his observations. Today, he suspects the body might be buried underground or hidden in a wall. The problem is, the construction site has over 10 buildings. They can't search each one, but must obtain a search warrant to dismantle the entire site. That night, Dongjae buys pain relief patches for his knees and falls asleep. Early the next morning, he's forced to return to the construction site to continue working. This time, Dongjae uses the equipment to secretly transmit information to his superiors, covertly filming the condition of the rooftop, walls, and floors. But the manager catches him using his phone and scolds him harshly, sending him back empty-handed. On the third day, Dongjae carries a bag of sand up the steps, only to notice freshly dug soil under the steps. At this moment, the construction site's loudspeaker announces a safety inspection, and the entire site gets a day off. The other workers feel something's off. Even during past inspections, they never got a full day off. Thinking of the workers' words, and looking at the freshly dug soil under the steps, Dongjae has a hunch. He suspects Director Nam plans to move the body tonight. Therefore, Dongjae quickly acts, arranging for his subordinate to stake out Director Nam's house overnight. If the body is discovered, they'll make the arrest immediately. Meanwhile, he and Byung-gun will go to the construction site to confirm. That night, the sky is moonless and starless. Dongjae and Byung-gun hide in a corner, observing the steps. Sure enough, a group of thugs arrives, starting to dig near the steps. Byung-gun films the scene with his phone, noticing the thugs have brought a crusher, clearly intending to dig up the body, crush it, and destroy all evidence. Seeing the bones being dug up and about to be fed into the crusher, Dongjae tells Byung-gun to keep watching, while he quickly runs to cut the power. Without power, the crusher immediately jams. Unfortunately, the thugs quickly restore the power, and Byung-gun is spotted and captured. The thugs plan to throw him into the crusher, using him to force Dongjae out. At the critical moment, Dongjae cuts the power again, saving Byung-gun. The two then join the fight against the thugs. Dongjae grabs a stick and joins the battle. At the crucial moment, the criminal investigation team Dongjae arranged earlier storms the scene. The thugs, seeing this, quickly flee. After receiving news of the body's discovery, the female subordinate quickly coordinates the operation, bringing an arrest warrant to capture Director Nam. The body is that of the worker who reported the substandard construction. Looking at the incomplete skeleton, remembering the worker's determined eyes when he was alive, the female subordinate silently vows to bring Director Nam to justice. But Director Nam is cunning, claiming the body found at his construction site doesn't mean he ordered the murder and burial. With just a few words, Director Nam shifts all blame onto his henchman. The female subordinate refuses to give up, taking Director Nam to the police station. At the station, Dongjae talks to Director Nam, saying the maximum detention period is only 10 days. But Dongjae vows to make sure Director Nam serves a long prison sentence. Not long after, The trial for Director Nam begins. Before the trial, the police have already captured the thugs, who dug up and destroyed the body. During the trial, one of them testifies, saying Director Nam ordered them to kill and bury the worker. But Director Nam has also prepared, shifting all blame onto his secretary, who's always helped him with dirty work. He then demands the tattooed man be called to testify. Unexpectedly, the tattooed man chooses to listen to Dongjae, directly reversing his previous testimony. In the case against Director Nam's son, turning the knife on Director Nam, Director Nam's lawyer is very cunning, pointing out the tattooed man's involvement in drug trafficking, yet being released by the prosecutor's office, clearly showing he and the prosecutor's office have made some deal to provide false testimony against Director Nam. Then, the lawyer even demands Dongjae take the stand. During the trial, the lawyer reveals Dongjae impersonated a worker to infiltrate the construction site, condemning this action as using public office for personal revenge, fabricating evidence to disadvantage Director Nam. Seeing the situation about to turn in Director Nam's favor, Dongjae unexpectedly presents a recording that completely changes the game. It's a phone call between Director Nam and his son, while the son was detained. During the call, Director Nam tells his son to check the car's dashcam footage, demanding all travel logs from May be deleted. Through investigation, Dongjae discovers the worker was killed in May, and Director Nam was also at the crime scene. Dongjae believes this call is the most crucial evidence to prove Director Nam's guilt. Seeing the situation reversed by Dongjae, Director Nam can do nothing. Suddenly, he bursts into laughter in the courtroom, his subsequent actions gradually losing control. This further confirms his guilt. After the trial ends, Byung-gun and the two subordinates go drinking, but Dongjae is conspicuously absent. Despite dismantling the drug trafficking organization and cracking the case against Director Nam and his son, the stain of suspected bribery on Dongjae remains. Later, Dongjae goes to the Ministry of Justice to accept punishment, but no one knows the specific punishment. Thinking the punishment hasn't been announced yet, Dongjae is extremely anxious. Not long after, Dongjae goes to the Ministry of Justice. The official in charge lists Dongjae's achievements and his crimes one by one. After weighing the merits and faults, the disciplinary committee decides to dismiss Dongjae. From now on, he's no longer a prosecutor. Hearing the final result, Dongjae is deeply disappointed. He never thought his lifelong efforts would be ruined by a moment of weakness and a small stain, costing him his career. During Dongjae's dismissal, the assemblyman colluding with Director Nam contacts the department head, planning to expose the interest groups related to Director Nam before they're exposed, actively providing evidence of bribery. To find a way out, under the assemblyman's arrangement, the department head sends evidence of Director Nam's bribery to the superiors. Based on this evidence, the subordinate applies for a search warrant, discovering 20 billion won in cash hidden in Director Nam's villa, completely stripping Director Nam of any ability to defend himself. At the same time, Byung-gun receives good news. He's about to be promoted and transferred to the central prosecutor's office. Byung-gun is overjoyed. Unexpectedly, on the day of his transfer, Dongjae, who had been dismissed, returns. Dongjae, full of energy, walks straight to the department head's office, exposing the department head's abuse of power, such as suppressing the case against his son, bullying classmates in school. It turns out Dongjae survived a great calamity, and good fortune is pouring in. Earlier, at the request of the Ministry of Justice, Dongjae went to the prosecutor's office's education headquarters. After arriving, Dongjae looks uneasy, not understanding the Ministry of Justice's intentions. With him are several prosecutors dismissed for similar stains. To his surprise, the prosecutor in charge of education is the former chief prosecutor, who defended Director Nam's son, the senior lawyer he knew. With a spirit of upholding justice, the senior has returned to the prosecutor's office, planning to gather their group into a special monitoring team, specifically to uncover corrupt elements within the prosecutor's office. Their group, having been corrupt themselves, are also highly capable, making them perfect for this job. Of course, they won't be official public servants, but if they achieve results, they'll have the option to join major law firms. So now, Dongjae's job is to monitor and investigate the department head, a corrupt official. For someone as experienced as Dongjae, this is a highly suitable job. Because of Dongjae's monitoring and investigation, the department head is dismissed. The female subordinate, always adhering to principles and pursuing justice, is chosen to replace him. Justice seems to be sprouting in the darkness. In contrast, Director Nam is in a miserable state. He's thrown into prison, coincidentally sharing a cell with the restaurant owner, who refused to sell his property to hide his murder. Having a long-standing grudge against Director Nam, the restaurant owner makes Director Nam's prison life hell. In the following months, Dongjae seriously performs his monitoring and investigation duties, acting decisively and forcefully. One day, the senior who recommended Dongjae and the special action team hint that they hope Dongjae can rise after his failure. This time, Dongjae doesn't boast. His eyes shine with confidence. From then on, any corrupt official who crosses paths with Dongjae is doomed. The movie ends here. See you in the next film.